Hello, Namaste. Myself Ankita Shreya Prasad, and you are listening to along with our NCERT 11th and 12th audio video book presented by Artskill Passion. Chapter 5, Principle of Inheritance and Variation. Have you ever wondered why an elephant always gives birth to only to a baby elephant and not some other animals? Or why a mango seed forms only a mango plant and not any other plant? Give that they do. Are the offsprings identical to their parents, or do they show differences in some of their characteristics? Have you ever wondered why siblings sometimes look so similar to each other, or sometimes even so different? These and several related questions are dealt with scientifically in a branch of biology known as genetics. This subject deals with the inheritance as well as the variation of characters from parents to offsprings. Inheritance is the process by which characters are passed on from parent to progeny. It is the basis of hereditary variation is the degree by which progeny differ from their parents. Humans knew from as early as 18,000 to 1000 BC that one of the causes of variation was hidden in sexual reproduction. They exploited the variations that were naturally present in the wild populations of plants and animals to selectively breed and select for organisms that possess desirable characters. For example, through artificial selection and domestication from ancestral wild cows, we have well-known Indian breeds. Example, Sahiwal cows in Punjab. We must, however, recognize that through our ancestors knew about the inheritance of characters and variation. They had very little idea about the scientific basis of these phenomena. 5.1 Mendeleev's laws of inheritance. It was during the mid-19th century that headway was made in the understanding of inheritance. George Mendel conducted hybridization experiments on garden peas for 7 years, 1856 to 1863, and proposed the law of inheritance in living organisms. During Mendel's investigations into inheritance patterns, it was for the first time that statistical analysis and the mathematical logic were applied to problems in biology. His experiments had a large sampling size, which gave greater credibility to the data that he collected. Also, the confirmation of his inferences from experiments on successive generation of his test plants provided that his results pointed to general rules of inheritance rather than being unsubstantiated ideas. Mendel investigated characters in the garden pea plant that were manifested as two opposing traits. Example, tall or dwarf plants, yellow or green seeds. This allowed him to set up a basic framework of rules governing inheritance, which was expanded on by later scientists to account for all the diverse natural observations and the complexity inherent in them. Mendel conducted such artificial pollination, cross-pollination experiments using several true breeding pea lines. A true breeding line is one that, having undergone continuous self-pollination, shows the stable trait inheritance and expression for several generations. Mendel selected 14 true breeding pea plant variants as pairs which were similar except for one character with contrasting traits. Some of the contrasting traits selected were smooth or wrinkled seeds, yellow or green seeds, implanted full or constricted green or yellow pods, and tall or dwarf plants. Figure 5.1 Table 5.1. Contrasting traits studied by Mendel in P. Characters and contrasting traits. Stem height, tall, dwarf. Flower color, violet, white. Flower position, axial, terminal. Pod shape, inflated, constricted. Pod color, green, yellow. Seed shape, round, wrinkled. Seed color, yellow, green. 5.2. Inheritance of one gene. Let us take the example of one such hybridization experiment carried out by Mendel, where he crossed tall and dwarf pea plant to study the inheritance of one gene. He collected the seeds produced as result of this cross and grew them to generate plants of the first hybrid generation. This generation is also called the filial one progeny of the F1. Mendel observed that all the F1 progeny plants were tall like one of its parents, none were dwarf. He made similar observation for the other pairs of traits. He found that the F1 always resembled either one of the parents, and that the trait of the other parent was not seen in them. Mendel then self-pollinated the tall F1 plants and to his surprise found that in the filial 2 generation some of the offsprings were dwarf. The character that was not seen in the F1 generation was now expressed. The proportion of plants that were dwarf were 1/4 of the F2 plants while 3/4 of the F2 plants were tall. The tall and dwarf traits were identical to their parental type and did not show any blending, that is, all the offsprings were either tall or dwarf. None were of in-between heights. Similar results were obtained with the other traits that he studied. Only one of the parental trait was expressed in the F1 generation, while at the F2 stage both the traits were expressed in the proportion 3:1. The contrasting traits did not show any blending at either F1 or F2 stage. Based on these observations, Mendel proposed that something was being stable, passed down, uncharged, changed from parent to offsprings through the gametes over successive generations. He called these things as factors, now we call them as genes. Genes, therefore, are the units of inheritance. They contain the information that is required to express a particular trait in an organism. Genes which code for a pair of contrasting traits are known as alleles. That is, they are slightly different from forms of the same gene. If we use alphabetical symbols for each gene, then the capital letter is used for the trait expressed at the F1 stage and the small alphabetic for the other trait. For example, in case of the character of height, T is used for the tall trait and T for the dwarf, and T and small t are alleles of each other. Hence, in plants, the pair of alleles for height would be capital TT, capital T, small t, or small tt. Mendel also proposed that in a true breeding tall or dwarf pea variety, the allelic pair of gene for height are identical or homozygous. Capital TT and small tt respectively. Capital TT and small tt are called the genotype of the plant, while the descriptive terms tall and dwarf are the phenotype. What then would be the phenotype of a plant that had a genotype capital T small t? As Mendel found the phenotype of the F1 heterozygote capital T small t to be exactly like the TT parent in appearance, he proposed that in a pair of dissimilar factors, one dominates the other as in the F1 and hence is called the dominant factor while the other factor is recessive. In this case, T for tallness is dominant over small t for dwarfness, that is recessive. He observed identical behavior for all the other characters trait pairs that he studied. It is convenient and logical to use the capital and lower case of an alphabetical symbol to remember this concept of dominance and recessiveness. Do not use capital T for tall and small d for draft because you will find it difficult to remember whether capital T and small d are alleles of the same gene character or not. Alleles can be similar as in the case of homozygotes capital T and small tt, or can be dissimilar as in the case of heterozygote capital T small t, since the capital T small t plant is heterozygous for genes controlling one character height. It is a monohybrid and the cross between capital TT and small tt is a monohybrid cross. From the observation that the recessive parental trait is expressed without any blending in the F2 generation, we can infer that when the tall and draft plant residue gametes by the process of meiosis, the alleles of the parental pair separate or segregate from each other and only one allele is transmitted to a gamete. This segregation of alleles is a random process, and so there is a 50% chance of a gamete containing either allele, as has been verified by the result of the crossings. In this way, the gametes of the tall capital TT plants have the allele capital T and the gametes of the draft small tt plant have the allele small t. During fertilization, the two alleles capital T from one parent say through the pollen and small t from the other parent, then through the egg are united to produce zygotes that have one capital T allele and one small t allele. In other words, the hybrids have capital T small t, since these hybrids contain alleles which expresses contrasting traits. The plants are heterozygous. The production of gametes by the parents, the formation of the zygotes, the F1 and F2 plants can be understood from a diagram called Punnett square as shown in figure 5.4. It was developed by a British geneticist, Reginald C. Punnett. It is a graphical representation to calculate the probability of all possible genotypes of offsprings in a genetic cross. The possible gametes are written on two sides, usually the top row and left columns. All possible combinations are represented in box below in the square, which generates a square output form. The Punnett square shows the parental tall TT male and draft TT female plants, the gametes produced by them, and the F1 capital T small t progeny. The F1 plants of genotype capital T small t are self-pollinated. The symbols are used to denote the female X and the male pollen of the F1 generation respectively. The F1 plant of the genotype capital T small t, when self-pollinated, produces gametes of the genotype capital T and small t in equal proportion. When fertilization takes place, the pollen grain of genotype T have a 50% chance to pollinate X of the genotype capital T as well as genotype small t. Also, pollen grains of genotype small t have a 50% chance of pollinating X of genotype T as well as genotype small t. As a result of random fertilization, the resultant zygotes can be of genotypes capital TT, capital T small t or small tt. From the Punnett square, it is easily seen that 1/4 of the random fertilization leads to capital T, 1/2 lead to capital T and small t, and 1/4 to small t through F1 have a genotype of capital T small t. But the phenotype character seen is tall at F2. 3/4 of the plants are tall, where some of them are capital T, while others are capital T small t. Externally, it is not possible to distinguish between the plants with the genotypes capital T and capital T small t. Hence, within the genotypic pair capital T small t, only one character T tall is expressed. Hence, the character capital T or tall is said to dominate over the other allet T or draft character. It is thus due to this dominance of one character over the other that all the F1 or tall through the genotype is capital T small t, and in the F2 3/4 of the plants are tall. Through genotypically 1/2 are capital T small t and only 1/4 are capital T capital T. This leads to a phenotypic ratio of 3/4 tall, 1/4 capital T plus 1/2 capital T small t and 1/4 small t. That is a 3:1 ratio, but a genotypic ratio is of 1:2:1. The 1/4 ratio and 1/2 ratio of 1/4 ratio of capital T, small t capital T and small t is mathematically considerable to form the binomial expression ax plus by whole square that has the gametes bearing capital T or small t in equal frequency of 1/2. The expression is expanded as given below. 1/2 t plus 1/2 small t whole square is equal to 1/2 capital T plus 1/2 small t into 1/2 capital T plus 1/2 small t, that is equals to 1/4 capital T plus 1/2 capital T small t plus 1/4 small t. Mendel self-pollinated the F2 plants and found that draft F2 plants continued to generate draft plants in F3 and F4 generation. He concluded that the genotype of the drafts was homozygous. Small t, what do you think he would have got had he self-pollinated a tall F2 plant? From the preceding paragraphs, it is clear that through the genotypic ratios can be calculated using mathematical probability. By simply looking at the phenotype of a dominant trait, it is not possible to know the genotypic composition. That is, for example, whether a tall plant from F1 or F2 has capital T or small t capital T composition cannot be predicted. Therefore, to determine the genotype of a tall plant at F2, Mendel crossed the tall plant from F2 with a draft plant. This he called a test cross. In a typical test cross, an organism P plant here showing a dominant phenotype and whose genotype is to be determined is crossed with the recessive parent instead of self-crossing. The progenies of such a cross can easily be analyzed to predict the genotype of the test organism. Figure 5.5 shows the results of typical test cross where violet color flower W is dominant over white color flower W. Using Punnett square, try to find out the nature of offsprings of a test cross. What ratio did you get? Using the genotype of this cross, can you give a general definition for a test cross? Figure 5.5 diagrammatic representation of a test cross. Based on his observation on monohybrid cross, Mendel proposed two general rules to consolidate his understanding of inheritance in monohybrid crosses. Today, these rules are called the principles or law of inheritance. The first law or law of dominance and the second law or law of segregation. 5.2.1 Law of dominance. First, characters are controlled by discrete units called factors. Second, factors occurs in pairs. Third, in a dissimilar pair of factors, one membrane of the pair dominates dominant
the other recessive. The law of dominance is used to explain the expression of only one of the parental characters in a monohybrid cross in the F1 and the expression of both in the F2. It also explains the proportion of 3:1 obtained at the F2. 5.22 Law of segregation. This law is based on the fact that the allele do not show any blending and that both the characters are recovered as such in the F2 generation. Though one of these is not seen at the F1 stage, through the parents contain two alleles during gamete formation. The factors or alleles of a pair segregate from each other such that gametes receive only one of the two factors. Of course, a homozygous parent produces all gametes that are similar, while her heterozygotes one produces two kinds of gametes, each having one allele with equal proportion. 5.2.2.1 Incomplete dominance. When experiments on peas were repeated using other traits in other plants, it was found that sometimes the F1 had a phenotype that did not resemble either of the two parents and was in between the two. The inheritance of flower color in the dog flower, snapdragon or anthurium species is a good example to understand incomplete dominance. In a cross between true breeding red flower R and true breeding white flowered plants small rr, the F1 R small r was pink. When the F1 was self-pollinated, the F2 resulted in the following ratio: 1 R red and is to 2 R small r pink is to 1 small r white. Here the genotype ratios were exactly as we found expect in any Mendelian monohybrid cross, but the phenotype ratios had changed from the 3:1 dominant to recessive ratio. What happened was the R was not completely dominant over small r, and this made it possible to distinguish R small r as pink from R red and small r white. Explanation of the concept of dominance. What exactly is the dominance? Why are some alleles dominant and some recessive? To tackle these questions, we must understand what a gene does. Every gene, as you know by now, contains the information to express a particular trait. In a diploid organism, there are two copies of each gene, that is, as a pair of alleles. Now, these two alleles need not always be identical, as in a heterozygote. One of them may be different due to some changes that it has undergone, about which you will read further on and in the next chapter, which modifies the information that particular allele contains. Let us take an example of a gene that contains the information for producing an enzyme. Now, there are two copies of this gene. The two allelic forms, let us assume, as is more common, that the normal allele produces the normal enzyme that is needed for the transformation of a substrate S. Theoretically, the modified allele could be responsible for production of first, the normal or less efficient enzyme, or second, a non-functional enzyme, or third, no enzyme at all. In the first case, the modified allele is equivalent to the unmodified allele, that is, it will produce the same phenotype trait, that is, result in the transformation of substrate S. Such equivalent allele pairs are very common, but if the allele produces a non-functional enzyme or no enzyme, the phenotype may be affected. The phenotype trait will only be dependent on the functioning of the unmodified allele. The unmodified functioning allele, which represent the original phenotype, is the dominant allele and the modified allele is generally the recessive allele. Hence, in the example above, the recessive trait is seen due to non-functional enzyme or because no enzyme is produced. 5.2.2.2 Codominance. Till now, we were discussing crosses, whether the F1 resembled either of the two parents' dominance or was in between incomplete dominance. But in the case of codominance, the F1 generation resembles both parent A. Good example is different types of red blood cells that determine ABO blood grouping in human beings. ABO blood groups are controlled by the gene I. The plasma membrane of the red blood cells has sugar polymers that protrude from a surface, and the kind of sugar is controlled by the gene. The gene I has three alleles, IA, IB and I. The alleles IA and IB produce a slightly different form of the sugar, while allele I does not produce any sugar. Because humans are diploid organisms, each person possesses any two of the three I gene alleles. IA and IB are completely dominant over I. In other words, when IA and I are present, only IA expresses, because I does not produce any sugar. And when IB and I are present, IB expresses, but when IA and IB are present together, they both express their own types of sugars. This is because of codominance. Hence, red blood cells have both A and B types of sugars. Since there are three different alleles, there are 6 different combinations of these 3 alleles that are possible, and therefore a total of 6 different genotypes of the human ABO blood types. Table 5.2. How many phenotypes are possible? Table 5.2. Table showing the genetic basis of blood groups in human population. Do you realize that the example of ABO blood grouping also provides a good example of multiple alleles? Here you can see that there are more than 2, that is 3 alleles governing the same character. Since in an individual only 2 alleles can be present, multiple alleles can be found only when population studies are made. Occasionally, a single gene product may produce more than one effect. For example, starch synthesis in pea seeds is controlled by one gene. It has 2 alleles, capital B and small b. Starch is synthesized effectively by capital B, homozygous, and therefore large starch gains are produced. In contrast, small b, homozygotes have lesser efficiency in starch synthesizers and produce small starch grains. After maturation of the seeds, capital B seeds are round and the small b seeds are wrinkled. Heterozygotes produce round seeds, and so capital B seems to be dominant allele. But the starch grains produced are of intermediate size in capital B, small b seeds. So if starch grain size is considered as the phenotype, then from this angle the alleles show incomplete dominance. Therefore, dominance is not an autonomous feature of a gene or the product that it has information for. It depends as much on the gene product and the production of a particular phenotype from this product as it does on the particular phenotype that we choose to examine. In the case more than one phenotype is influenced by the same gene. 5.3 Inheritance of 2 genes. Mendel also worked with and crossed pea plants that differed in 2 characters, as is seen in the cross between a pea plant that has seeds with yellow color and round shaped and one that had seed of green color and wrinkled shape. Mendel found that the seeds resulting from the crossing of the parents had yellow color and round shaped seeds. Here you can tell which of the characters in the paste, yellow or green color and round or wrinkled shape, was dominant. Thus, yellow color was dominant over green and round shape dominant over wrinkled. These results were identical to those that he got when he made separate monohybrid cross between yellow and green seed plants and between round and wrinkled seed plants. Let us use the genotypic symbols Y for dominant yellow seed color and small y for recessive green seed color, capital R for round shaped seeds and small r for wrinkled seed shape. The genotype of the parents can then be written as capital R, capital Y and small r, small y. The cross between the two plants can be written down in figure 5.7 showing the genotypes of the parent plants. The gametes capital R, capital Y and small r and y unite on fertilization to produce the F1 hybrid capital R, capital Y, small y. When Mendel self-hybridized the F1 plants, he found the 3/4 of F2 plants had yellow seed and 1/4 had green. The yellow and green colors segregated in a 3:1 ratio. Round and wrinkled seed shape also segregated in a 3:1 ratio, just like in a monohybrid cross. Phenotypic ratio: round yellow is to round green is to wrinkled yellow is to wrinkled green. 9:3:3:1. Figure 5.7 result of dihybrid cross where the two parents differed in two pairs of contrasting traits, seed color and seed shape. 5.3.1 Law of independent assortment. In the dihybrid cross, the phenotypes round yellow, round green and wrinkled green appeared in the ratio 9:3:3:1. Such a ratio was observed for several pairs of characters that Mendel studied. The ratio of 9:3:3:1 can be derived as a combination series of 3 yellow, 1 green with 3 round is to 1 wrinkled. This derivation can be written as follows: 3 round is to 1 wrinkled, 3 yellow is to 1 green is equal to 9 round yellow, 3 is to wrinkled yellow is to 3 round and green is to 1 wrinkled and green. Based upon such observation on dihybrid crosses between the plants differing in two traits, Mendel proposed a second set of generalization that we call Mendel's law of independent assortment. The law states that when two pairs of traits are combined in a hybrid, segregation of one pair of characters is independent of the other pair of characters. The Punnett square can be effectively used to understand the independent segregation of the two pairs of genes during meiosis and the production of eggs and pollen in the F1 capital R, capital Y, small y plant. Consider the segregation of one pair of genes capital R and small r. 50% of the gametes have the gene capital R and the other 50% have small r. Now, beside each gamete having either capital R or small r, it should also have the allele capital Y or small y. The important thing to remember here is the segregation of 50% capital R and 50% small r is independent from the segregation of 50% capital Y and 50% small y. Therefore, 50% of the small r bearing gametes has capital Y and the other 50% has small y. Similar 50% of the capital R bearing gametes has capital Y and other 50% has small y. Thus, there are 4 phenotypes of gametes, 4 types of pollen and 4 types of eggs. The 4 types are capital R small y and capital R small y, small r capital Y and small r small y, each with a frequency of 25% of 1/4 of the total gametes produced. When you write down the 4 types of eggs and the pollen on the two sides of Punnett square, it is very easy to derive the composition of the zygotes that give rise to the F2 plants. Although there are 16 square, how many different types of genotypes and phenotypes are formed? Note them down in the format given. Can you, using the Punnett square data, work out the phenotypic ratio at the F2 stage and fill in the format given? Is the genotypic ratio also 9:3:3:1? 5.3.2 Chromosomal theory of inheritance. Mendel published his work on inheritance of characters in 1865, but for several reasons it remained unrecognized till 1900. Firstly, communication was not easy as it is now in those days, and his work could not be widely publicized. Secondly, his concept of genes or factors in Mendel's world as stable and discrete units that controlled the expression of traits and of the pair of alleles which did not blend with each other was not accepted by his contemporaries as an explanation for the apparently continuous variation seen in nature. Thirdly, Mendel's approach of using mathematics to explain biological phenomena was totally new and unacceptable to many of the biologists of his times. Finally, though Mendel's work suggested the factors genes were discrete units, he could not provide any physical proof for the existence of factors or say what they were made of. In 1900, three scientists, D. Veres, Correns, and von Testmark, independently rediscovered Mendel's result on the inheritance of characters. Also, by this time, due to advancement in microscopy that were taking place, scientists were able to carefully observe cell division. This led to the discovery of structures in the nucleus that appeared to double and divide just before each cell division. These were called chromosomes, colored bodies, as they were visualized by staining. By 1902, the chromosome movement during meiosis had been worked out. Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri noted that the behavior of chromosomes was parallel to the behavior of genes and used chromosome movement. To explain Mendel's law, recall that you have studied the behavior of chromosomes during mitosis, equational division, and during meiosis, reduction division. The important things to remember are that chromosomes as well as genes occurs in pairs. The two alleles of a gene pairing are located on homozygous sites on homologous chromosomes. Figure 5.8. Meiosis and germ cell formation in a cell with 4 chromosomes. Can you see how chromosomes segregate when germ cells are formed? During anaphase of meiosis 1, the two chromosome pairs can align at the metaphase plate independently of each other. To understand this, compare the chromosomes of 4 different colors in the left and right columns. In the left column, possibility 1, orange and green is segregating together. But in the right hand column, possibility 2, the orange chromosome is segregating with the red chromosomes. Possibility 1, one long orange and short green chromosome and long yellow and short red chromosomes at the same pole. Possibility 2, one long orange and short red chromosomes and long yellow and short green chromosome at the same pole. Figure 5.9. Independent assortment of chromosomes. Sutton and Boveri argued that the pairing and separation of pair of chromosomes would lead to the segregation of pairs of factors they carried. Sutton united the knowledge of chromosomal segregation with the Mendelian principle and called it the chromosomal theory of inheritance. Following this synthesis of ideas, experimental verification of the chromosomal theory of inheritance by Thomas Hunt Morgan and his colleague led to discovering the basis for the variation that sexual reproduction produced. Morgan worked with the tiny fruit flies Drosophila melanogasters, which were found very suitable for such studies. These could be grown on simple synthetic medium in the laboratory. They complete their life cycle in about 2 weeks, and a single mating could produce a large number of progeny flies. Also, there was a clear differentiation of the sexes. The male and female flies are easily distinguishable. Also, it has many types of hereditary variation that can be seen with low power microscopes. 5.3.1 Linkage and recombination. Morgan carried out several dihybrid crosses in Drosophila to study genes that were sex related. The crosses were similar to the dihybrid cross carried out by Mendeleev in peas. For example, Morgan hybridized yellow bodies, white-eyed females to brown bodies, red-eyed males, and intercrossed their F1 progeny. He observed that the two genes did not segregate independently of each other, and the F2 ratio deviated very significantly from the 9:3:3:1 ratio expected when the two genes are independent. Morgan and his group knew that the genes were located on the X chromosomes, section 5.4, and saw quickly that when the two genes in a dihybrid cross were situated on the same chromosomes, the proportion of parental gene combination were much higher than the non-parental type. Morgan attributed this due to the physical association or linkage of the two genes and coined the term linkage to describe this physical association of genes on a chromosome, and the term recombination to describe the generation of non-parental gene combination. Morgan and his group also found that when genes were grouped on the same chromosome, some genes were tightly linked, show very low combination, while others were loosely linked, showed higher combination. For example, he found that the genes white and yellow were very tightly linked and showed only 1.3% recombination, while white and miniature wing showed 37.2% recombination. His student Alfred Sturtevant used the frequency of recombination between gene pairs on the same chromosome as a measure of the distance between genes and mapped their position on the chromosome. Today, genetic maps are extensively used as a starting point in sequencing of whole genomes, as was done in this case of human genome sequencing project described later. Figure 5.11 Linkage. Results of two described crosses conducted by Morgan. Crosses show a crossing between gene Y and W. Cross B shows crossing between gene W and M. Here, dominant wild types alleles are represented within plus sign in superscript. Note that the strength of linkage between Y and W is higher than W and M. 5.4 Polygenic inheritance. Mendel's studies mainly describe those traits that have distinct alternate forms, such as flower color, which are either purple or white. But if you look around, you will find that there are many traits which are not so distinct in their occurrence and are spread across gradient. For example, in humans, we don't just have tall or short people as two distinct alternatives, but a whole range of possible heights. Such traits are generally controlled by 3 or more genes and thus called as polygenic traits. Besides the involvement of multiple genes, polygenic inheritance also takes into account the influence of environment. Human skin color is another classic example of this. In a polygenic trait, the phenotype reflects the contribution of each allele. Thus, the effect of each allele is additive. To understand this better, let us assume that 3 genes A, B, C control skin color in humans, with the dominant forms A, B and C responsible for dark skin color and recessive form A, B and small c for light skin color. The genotype with all the dominant alleles capital AA, BB, CC will have the darkest skin color, and that with all the recessive alleles small a, BB, CC will have the lightest skin color. As expected, the genotype with 3 dominant alleles and 3 recessive alleles will have a intermediate skin color. In this manner, the number of each type of alleles in the genotype would determine the darkness or lightness of the skin in an individual. 5.5 Pleiotropy. We have so far seen the effect of gene on a single phenotype or trait. There are, however, instances where a single gene can exhibit multiple phenotype expression. Such a gene is called a pleiotropic gene. The underlying mechanism of pleiotropy in most cases is the effect of a gene on metabolic pathways which contribute towards different phenotypes. An example of this is the disease phenylketonuria, which occurs in humans. The disease is caused by mutation in the genes that codes for the enzyme phenylalanin hydroxylase, single gene mutation. This manifests itself through phenotypic expression, characterized by mental retardation and a reduction in hair and skin pigmentation. 5.6 Sex determination. The mechanism of sex determination has always been a puzzle before the genetics. The initial clue about the genetic chromosomal mechanism of sex determination can be traced back to some of the experiments carried out in insects. In fact, the cytological observation made in a number of insects led to the development of the concept of genetic chromosomal basis of sex determination. Henking, 1891, could trace a specific nuclear structure all through spermatogenesis in a few insects, and it was also observed by him that 50% of the sperm received this structure after spermatogenesis, whereas the other 50% sperm did not receive it. Henking gave a name to this structure as the X body, but he could not explain its significance. Further investigation by the other scientists led to the conclusion that the X body of Henking was in fact a chromosome, and that is why it was given the name X chromosome. It was also observed that in a large number of insects, the mechanism of sex determination of the XO type, that is, all X bear an additional X chromosomes beside the other chromosomes, autosomes. On the other hand, some of the sperms bear the X chromosomes, whereas some do not. Eggs fertilized by sperm having an X chromosomes become females, and those fertilized by sperms that do not have an X chromosomes becomes males. Do you think the number of chromosomes in a male and female are equal? Due to the involvement of the X chromosomes in the determination of sex, it was designated to be the sex chromosomes, and the rest of the chromosomes were named as autosomes. Grasshopper is an example of exotype of sex determination in which the males have only one X chromosomes beside the autosomes, whereas females have a pair of X chromosomes. These observations led to the investigation of a number of species to understand the mechanism of sex determination. In a number of other insects and mammals, including man, XY type of sex determination is seen where both male and female have same number of chromosomes. Among the males, an X chromosome is present, but its counterpart is distinctly smaller and called the Y chromosomes. Females, however, have a pair of X chromosomes. Both males and female bear same number of autosomes. Hence, the males have autosomes plus capital X, capital Y, while females have autosomes plus capital X in human beings, and in Drosophila, the males have one capital X and one capital Y chromosomes. whereas female have a pair of capital X chromosomes beside autosomes. In the above description, you have studied about two types of sex determining mechanisms, that is capital X and capital O type and capital X and capital Y type. In both cases, males produce two different types of gametes, A, either with or without X chromosomes, or B, some gametes with X chromosomes and some with Y chromosomes. Such types of sex determination mechanism is designated to be the example of male heterogamety. In some other organisms, examples, birds, a different mechanism of sex determination is observed. Figure 5.12c. In the case, the total number of chromosomes is same in both males and females, but two different types of gametes in terms of the sex chromosomes are produced by females, that is female heterogamety. In order to have a distinction with the mechanism of sex determination described earlier, the two different sex chromosomes of a female bird has been designated to be the Z and W chromosomes. In these organisms, the female have one Z and one W chromosomes, whereas males have a pair of Z chromosomes beside the autosomes. 5.6.1 Sex determination in humans. It has already been mentioned that the sex determining mechanism in case of humans is XY type. Out of 23 pairs of chromosomes present, 22 pairs are exactly same in both males and females. These are the autosomes. A pair of X chromosomes are present in the females, whereas the presence of an capital X and capital Y chromosomes are determinant of the male characteristics. During spermatogenesis among males, two types of gametes are produced. 50% of the total sperm produced carry the X chromosomes and the rest 50% has Y chromosomes beside the autosomes. Females, however, produce only one type of ovum with an X chromosomes. There is an equal probability of fertilization of the ovum with the sperm carrying either X or Y chromosomes. In case ovum fertilizes with a sperm carrying XY chromosomes, the zygote develops into a female capital X and capital X, and the fertilization of ovum with capital Y chromosomes carrying sperm results in a male offspring. Thus, it is evident that it is the genetic makeup of the sperm that determines the sex of the child. It is also evident that in each pregnancy there is always 50% probability of either a male or a female child. It is unfortunate that in our society women are blamed for giving birth to female children and have been ostracized and ill-treated because of this false notation. 5.6.2 Sex determination in honeybees. The sex determination in honeybee is based on the number of sets of chromosomes an individual receives and offspring formed from the union of a sperm and an egg develops as a female queen or worker, and an unfertilized egg develops as a male drone by means of parthenogenesis. This means that the males have half the number of chromosomes than that of females. The females are diploid having 32 chromosomes and males are haploid, that is having 16 chromosomes. This is called as haploid diploid sex determination systems and has special characteristic features such as the male produce sperms by mitosis. They do not have father and thus cannot have sons, but have a grandfather and can have grandsons. How is the sex determination mechanism different in the birds? Is the sperm or the egg responsible for the sex of the chicks? 5.7 Mutation. Mutation is a phenomenon which results in alternation of DNA sequences and consequently result in changes in the genotype and the phenotype of an organism. In addition to recombination, mutation is another phenomenon that leads to variation in DNA. As you will learn in chapter 6, one DNA helix run continuously from one end to the other in each chromatid in a highly supercolloid form. Therefore, loss, deletion or gain, insertion, duplication of a segment of DNA result in alteration in chromosomes. Since genes are known to be located on chromosomes, alternation in chromosomes results in abnormalities of abbreviations. Chromosomal abbreviations are commonly observed in cancer cells. In addition to the above, mutation also arise due to change in a single base pair of DNA. This is known as point mutation. A classical example of such a mutation is sickle cell anemia. Deletion and insertion of base pair of DNA causes frame shift mutations. The mechanism of mutation is beyond the scope of this discussion at this level. However, there are many chemical and physical factors that influence mutations. These are referred to as mutagens. UV radiations can cause mutations in organisms. It is a mutagen. 5.8 Genetic disorders. 5.8.1 Pedigree analysis. The idea that disorders are inherited has been prevailing in the human society since long. This was based on the heritability of certain characteristics, features in families. After the rediscovery of Mendel's work, the practice of analyzing inheritance pattern of traits in human beings began. Since it is evident that control crosses that can be performed in pea plant or some other organisms are not possible in case of human beings. Study of the family history about inheritance of particular trait provides an alternative. Such an analysis of traits in a several of generation of a family is called the pedigree analysis. In this pedigree analysis, the inheritance of a particular trait is represented in the family tree over generation. In human genetics, pedigree studies provides a strong tool which is utilized to trace the inheritance of a specific trait, abnormality or diseases. Some of the important standard symbols used in the pedigree analysis have been shown in figure 5.13. As you have studied in this chapter, each and every feature in any organism is controlled by one or the other gene located on the DNA present in chromosomes. DNA is the carrier of genetic information. It is hence transmitted from one generation to the other without any change or alternation. However, changes or alternation do take place occasionally. Such an alternation or change in the genetic material is referred to as mutation. A number of disorders in human beings have been found to be associated with the inheritance of changed or altered genes or chromosomes. 5.8.1 Mendelian disorders. Broadly, genetic disorders may be grouped into two categories: Mendelian disorders and chromosomes disorders. Mendelian disorders are mainly determined by alteration or mutation in the single gene. These disorders are transmitted to the offsprings of the same lines as we have studied in the principle of inheritance. The pattern of inheritance of such Mendelian disorders can be traced in a family by the pedigree analysis. Most common and prevalent Mendelian disorders are hemophilia, cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, color blindness, phlebotonia, thalassemia, etc. It is important to mention here that such Mendelian disorders may be dominant or recessive. By pedigree analysis, one can easily understand whether the trait in question is dominant or recessive. Similarly, the trait may also be linked to the sex chromosomes as in case of hemophilia. It is evident that this X-linked recessive trait shows transmission from carrier female to male progeny. A representative pedigree is shown in figure 5.14 or for dominant and recessive traits. Discuss with your teachers and design pedigree for characters linked to both autosomes and sex chromosomes. Figure 5.14 representative pedigree analysis of a autosomal dominant trait, for example monotonic dystrophy, B autosomal recessive trait, for example sickle cell anemia. Color blindness, it is a sex linked recessive disorder due to defect in either red or green clone of eye resulting in failure of discriminate between red and green color. This defect is due to mutation in certain genes present in the X chromosome. It occurs in both 8% of males and only about 0.4% of females. This is because the genes that leads to red-green color blindness are on the X chromosomes. Males have only on X chromosomes and females have two. The son of the woman who carries the gene has 50% chance of being colorblind. The mother is not herself colorblind because the gene is recessive. That means that its effect is suppressed by a matching dominant normal gene. A daughter will not normally be colorblind unless her mother is a carrier and her father is colorblind. Hemophilia, the sex-linked recessive disease which shows its transmission from unaffected carrier female to some of the male progeny has been widely studied. In this disease, a single protein that is a part of the cascade of proteins involved in the clotting of blood is affected. Due to this, in an affected individual, a simple cut will result in non-stop bleeding. The heterozygous female carrier for hemophilia, the male transmits the diseases to sons. The possibility of a female becoming a hemophilic is extremely rare because mother of such a female has to be least carrier and the father should be hemophilic, unviable in the later stage of life. The family pedigree of Queen Victoria shows a number of hemophilic descents as she was a carrier of the diseases. Sickle cell anemia. This is an autosome linked recessive trait that can be transmitted from parent to the offspring when both the partners are carrier of the gene or heterozygous. The disease is controlled by a single pair of allele HBA and HBS. Out of the three possible genotypes, only homozygous individual for HBS and HBS show the disease phenotype. Heterozygous HBA-HBS individuals appear apparently unaffected, but they are carriers of the disease as there is 50% probability of transmission of mutant gene to progeny, thus exhibiting sickle cell trait. The defect is caused by substitution of glutamic acid. Figure 5.15. Micrograph of the red blood cells and the amino acid composition of relevant portion of beta chain of hemoglobin, A from a normal individual, B from an individual with sickle cell anemia. GLU by Blanine Val at the sixth position of the beta globin chain of the hemoglobin molecule. The substitution of amino acid in the globin protein result due to the single base substitution at the sixth codon of the beta globin gene from GAG to GUG. The mutant hemoglobin molecule undergoes polymerization under low oxygen tension, causing the change in the shape of RBC from biconcavic disc to elongated sickle structure. Phenylketonuria. This inborn error of metabolism is also inherited as the autosomal recessive trait. The affected individual lack an enzyme that converts the amino acid phenylalanine into tryptophan. As a result of the phenylalanine is accumulated and converted into phenylpyruvic acid and other derivatives. Accumulation of these in brain result in mental retardation. These are also excreted through urine because of its poor absorption by kidney. Thalassemia. This is also an autosome-linked recessive blood disease transmitted from parents to the offsprings when both the partners are unaffected carriers of the gene or heterozygous. The defect could be due to either mutation or deletion, which ultimately result in reduced rate of synthesis of one of the globin chains, alpha and beta chains, that make up hemoglobin. This causes the formation of abnormal hemoglobin molecules resulting into anemia, which is characteristic of the disease. Thalassemia can be classified according to which chain of the hemoglobin molecule is affected. In alpha thalassemia, production of alpha globin chain is affected, while in beta thalassemia, production of beta globin chain is affected. Alpha thalassemia is controlled by two closely linked genes, HBA1 and HBA2, on chromosome 16 of each parent, and it is observed due to mutation or deletion of one or more of the four genes. The more genes affected, the less alpha globin molecules produced. While beta thalassemia is controlled, less alpha globin molecules produced, while beta thalassemia is controlled by a single gene, HBB, on chromosome 11 of each parent and occurs due to mutation of one or both the genes. Thalassemia differs from sickle cell anemia in the former is quantitative problem of synthesizing too few globin molecules, while the latter is a quantitative problem of synthesizing an incorrectly functioning globin. 5.8.3 Chromosomal disorders. The chromosomal disorders, on the other hand, are caused due to absence or excess or abnormal arrangement of one or more chromosomes. Failure of segregation of chromatids during cell division or cell cycle result in the gain or loss of chromosomes, called aneuploidy. For example, Down syndrome result in the gain of extra copy of chromosomes 21. Similarly, Turner syndromes result due to loss of an X chromosomes in human females. Failure of cytokinesis after telophase stage of cell division result in an increase in a whole set of chromosomes in an organism, and this phenomenon is known as polyploidy. This condition is often seen in plants. The total number of chromosomes in a normal human cell is 46 to 23 pairs. Out of these, 22 pairs are autosomes and one pair of chromosomes are sex chromosomes. Sometimes, thoroughly, either an additional copy of a chromosome may be included in an individual, or an individual may lack one of any one pair of chromosomes. These situations are known as trisomy or monosomy of chromosomes respectively. Such a situation leads to very serious consequence in the individual. Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome are common examples of chromosomal disorders. Down syndrome. The cause of this genetic disorder is the presence of an additional copy of the chromosome number 21, trisomy of 21. This disorder was first described by Langdon Down 1866. The affected individual is short, saturated with a small round head, furrowed tongue and partially open mouth. Figure 5.16. Palm is broad with characteristic palm Cs. Physical, psychomotor and mental development is retarded. Klinefelter syndrome. This genetic disorder is also caused due to the presence of an additional copy of X chromosomes resulting in karyotype of 47 XS. Such an individual has overall masculine development. However, the feminine development of breast, that is gynecomastia, is also expressed. Such individuals are sterile. Turner syndrome. Such a disorder is caused due to the absence of one of the X chromosomes, that is 45 with XO. Such females are sterile as ovaries rudimentary besides other features including lack of other secondary sexual characters. Figure 5.17b.
Thank you for being till the end. I hope this has helped you. If so, give thumbs up, like, share, comment, save, download and subscribe. You can support us by following in other platforms. That link is in the description. Well, thank you. See you later. Maybe never.